Hello, everyone. Welcome to GNU according to CD, that is Government of National Unity. So, guys, I just want to say something that I feel it needs to be said. Okay, I get it. I get it that I hardly ever say that legal foreigners that are in South Africa are most welcome. But I think I have said it a number of times that if you are legally in South Africa, I mean, it's comforting for a South African to know that if you commit a crime, or maybe you are a contributing member of our economy, it's easier to trace and say, hey, listen, so and so of this country is legally in South Africa, and here are their tax information if you are looking for their tax information. I don't think tax information is private because the whole concept of taxation is public because it's public funds that you are contributing towards. Whether that public fund is going to be used for development of infrastructure, or the what do you call this? The public fund is going to be used in paying parliamentarians or political parties that are in parliament, or it's going to pay police, nurses, etc., and so on. All that we want is to know that you are legally in South Africa and we can trace you in whatever way we need to trace you, especially if you commit a crime. Because if you commit a crime, where would we find you? Are you becoming a needle in a haystack simply because you are not documented? Versus if you are documented, because I believe if you are documented, chances of you committing a crime knowingly and with intentions, they are quite slim. Yes, I'm not saying that there are illegal foreigners that are in South Africa and they're not committing crimes. Definitely they are committing crimes, but I think they are smart about it. They're probably using people that are illegally in South Africa to conduct those criminal activities. For example, like selling white powder. I do believe that there are green, white, and green people that live in South Africa legally, probably even married to a South African woman and got naturalized as a South African citizen, and they're continuing with the white powder business, where they call it selling market. And but they're legally in South Africa. Do you think that they are known? No, I don't think the arm of the law knows them because they have these stooges. Because from what I understand, most of these guys will go back home to Green, White, and Green, and they go to a village and go to the village and pick some few boys. Obviously, they go to the parents and say, "Hey, listen, I got an opportunity for your son in South Africa. Can I take him along so that he can take care of the family?" Obviously, this is Green, White, and Green. They are poor, dead poor. I mean, we are seeing it on the streets of their 64th anniversary when they were talking about how poverty it is playing with their lives. And so, of course, a young man who has ambitions probably will say, okay, cool. I mean, I'm going to a new country, I'm going to fly in an aeroplane, and they get here only to be the salespeople on the streets of Hillbrow, on the streets of Yeovil, on the streets of downtown Johannesburg, and even in the suburbia of South Africa, basically destroying our society. Done by who? By legal foreign nationals, particularly from Green, White, and Green, because that is what they are popular for with white powder. I mean, I don't know how many more evidence we can show about this. It's not only South Africa that is complaining about this situation, but other parts of the world as well. I was watching, I don't know if that's a talk show or it's a inquiry by government or whatever it is, where the 400 people that were deported from Turkey, one of the people that was deported from Turkey was crying that he's been in Turkey for at least 13 years. He has a legitimate business, in air quotes here. He has a legitimate business, and he was detained and thrown in some waiting camp, just like Lindell. Is it Lindell or Lindelani here in South Africa? And he even became the translator, But obviously, the Turkey country was just playing with him. And I did not even hear one word of accountability, either from the host or from the audience. Our friend as well, that Dr. What with a PhD. You know that one. He was amongst the audience. I couldn't stop laughing. And no accountability as to why Turkey. Now let's talk about Turkey because the way it sounded, they said all other African nationalities that are in the camp and when they are ill, the Turkish government will actually take care of them. They will call an ambulance, but if it's a Nigerian, they just say they must faint. Basically saying, yeah, that particular situation. And you have to ask yourself why. And goes back to exactly what I've been saying on this channel that listen, you guys are going to other people's lands. And when you go to these people's lands, niadelela, you're disrespectful. You disrespect the country, you disrespect the laws of the country, you even disrespect the people that you go to. You are too loud. You know, when you are quiet, I'll give you an example about Ghanaians. There is no way that there are Ghanaians in South Africa or anywhere else that are not naughty and committing crimes. There is no such a thing. There are some of them that are committing crimes, but you know what? Ghanaians are quiet. And as a result of them being quiet, it's easy for them to slip through the cracks without being noticed versus Nigerians who are too loud, critical, saying things they're not supposed to be saying in a host country. Make it make sense. And that is why Turkish government couldn't care less about them. And I'm sure other countries as well, if we really have to go down to the wire. Nigerians, nobody likes them. Nobody likes them because of their attitudes. Your attitudes stink. You need to change your attitude. And when you don't take accountability for the nonsense that you do in those countries, then unfortunately, you will always feel like nobody cares about you because you don't care about yourselves. You know, you need to care about yourselves in order for the rest of the world to care about you too. So, just to go back to what I was saying earlier, I know that there are legal people that are documented that are in South Africa, and they are very much welcomed. However, though, there are those that are also documented but are committing crimes in South Africa, like kidnappings. They are also kidnapping girls, turning them into prostitutes. Because if you really have to now do a lifestyle audit on all of them that are documented in South Africa, they will not be able to account for the money that they have. They will not be able to account for it, especially if they don't have a job or they don't have a legitimate business that they are running. How then do you account for the money that you have? That is where I'm going to leave it. I just thought, let me acknowledge that I know there are legal foreigners in the country, whether they're from green, white, and green or wherever, they are welcomed. But you need to behave. You need to behave. You need to abide by the laws. Because South Africans do have the right to put together a petition for your citizenship to be revoked. It can happen. So you are living on borrowed times in South Africa. You are not rooted in South Africa. So get that straight and then start behaving. That's all I have to say about this.